Okay, and what we want to do in this video is continue on and essentially finish off our study of opportunity cost and how it relates to the production possibilities curve. So what we're going to do is, we've got these combinations here that are of burgers and hot dogs, and what we're going to do is track or trace or graph these onto this graph here. So the first one is 0 burgers and 50 hot dogs. I believe that goes there, okay? So that is one bundle that the economy is capable of producing given its factors of production and how efficiently it uses them. So assuming we're using all of the existing factors of production, which are finite, and using them efficiently, that is one bundle that we can produce. Now, the next bundle that we are capable of producing is 10 hamburgers and 45 hot dogs. And all I'm doing, all of these dots, all they represent, and I hope you can see this, is that each of these represent one of these bundles which the economy is capable of producing given its finite factors of production. Now, if we join these dots, we get the PPC curve, which is that black line there. I hope that makes sense. That is the limit to the ability of society to produce goods and services, in this case hot dogs and hamburgers, given its limited factors of production. Now, moving on here. Okay, so let's remind ourselves what opportunity cost is. The next best alternative foregone when an economic decision is made. Absolutely fantastic. That's what we want. Now, this is the graph that we just drew, that we just traced out on the previous slide, but I've labeled them A, B, C, D, and E. And there's no difference with any of these bundles here represented that we saw on the last slide. So you see, we get these questions that are somewhat generic, right? Now, I'll go through these and then I'll explain a better way to ask them. But these are the questions that you can kind of get. So calculate the per unit opportunity cost of burgers from moving from A to B. Okay, so moving from A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to E. So what we are saying here is, what is opportunity cost? It's what you lose, it's what you miss out on, it's what you give up, it's what you don't choose. If we are moving from A to B, what do we gain? Well, we gain burgers, but there is a cost to society. There is something that society must give up if it's going to get extra burgers in terms of how many hot dogs it must reduce its production by in order to satisfy the new increased demand for burgers, or the increased production of burgers, if you want to say it that way. Right, well, let's look at this. Now, the first thing I'm just going to say here is, we've got hot dogs, and we're moving from A to B. Now, because this graph may be somewhat difficult at times to read, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the bundles here. Okay, so A is 0 burgers, 50 hot dogs. E is 25 burgers and 0 hot dogs, right? Now, we are moving from A to B here. Well, this is the formula for opportunity cost. What you gain equals what you lost. And I'll just go opportunity cost here. What you gain equals what you lost. This is really important to do it in this way, to set it up in this way, I believe, like I said in the last video. Right, now, so what are we gaining? What we are gaining is burgers, right? So that's the first thing. The burgers are going to go on the left here. So it's Q2, which is 10, minus Q1, which is 0. So I'm going to give you I forgot about that, but I'm going to give you the answers here, which is 10 minus 0. And then what did we lose? Well, we went from 50 hot dogs at point A to 45 hot dogs at point B. So what we lost was 5 hot dogs. Now, again, I'm really, stressing this loads and loads. Write the commodity that you are gaining on the left and the commodity that you are losing on the right. Make sure you do that. So it's 10 burgers equals 5 hot dogs. Okay, so what we have to do is we want to find the per unit opportunity cost. So we have to get the left-hand side equal to 1. So the way to do that is to divide it by the number that's before the commodity, which is burgers in this case. So we're dividing both sides by 10. And what we get is the addition of 1 burger. The opportunity cost of adding 1 burger to the production in this economy costs us half a hot dog. Now, that's no problem. But then with the previous video, we were like, all the way down, the opportunity cost is constant. With the bowed out or however you want to say it, PPC, the opportunity cost is not constant. And watch what happens to the opportunity cost. So here the opportunity cost of increasing production of 1 burger was half a hot dog. Now we are moving from B to C. So we're moving from here to here, and it's just that point there. So I'm going to bring back in the table, and we're saying, okay, so we're moving from B B to C. So what did we gain? Well, we gained 7 hot dogs, right? So it was 17 minus 10, burgers, 7 burgers. But how many hot dogs did we lose? Well, we lost 10. So what we gain equals what we lost. But please, guys, please, always write it in that way. What you gain equals what you lost. So 7 burgers equals 10 hot dogs. Okay, so the previous one, so we're going to divide both sides by 7 in order to get just the per unit opportunity cost of adding a burger in terms, talked about in terms of hot dogs. Okay, so I would say, look, we have to, in order to get one more burger moving from B to C, we have to give up 1.43 hot dogs. That's the opportunity cost. You really need to understand that we're expressing the cost of one good in terms of the reduced production of the other. Okay, I really hope that helps, and I'm going to go through this again. So now we're going from C to D. Now I think we can read C. C is about 17 or 17 and a half, 17, sorry, and then what's this here now? This is 35, and then so again, I'm not going to mess around. I'm just going to put the table here. Okay, so we are moving from C to D. Now what did we gain? Well, we went from 17 to 22, so that's 5 burgers. But what did we lose? Well, we went from 35 hot dogs to 20, so that's 15 hot dogs that we lost. So now we've got 5 burgers equals 15 hot dogs. What do I mean by that? Well, again, we're just going to get the per unit opportunity cost of increasing the production of one burger expressed in terms of hot dogs. So now what we've got, the opportunity cost of increasing the production of burgers by 1 is we have to give up as a society 3 hot dogs. Now this is really important. What do you notice about the opportunity cost as we move from here down? And hopefully you'll see it. But for the last one, I'll just wait until we do this calculation before I go into it. And what we've got is moving from D to E. So again, what do we gain? Well, we've moved from 22 burgers to 25. So that's a gain of 3 burgers. But we've moved from 20 hot dogs down to 0. So that's a loss of 20 hot dogs. So basically what we have to do now is to find the per unit opportunity cost of burgers. We have to divide both sides by the number before the burgers, and we said to produce one more burger from going from D to E, it's going to cost us 6.67 hot dogs. Now that's a huge amount, and what I do hope you see is what's going to be explained on the next page. What do we notice? Well, we noticed, and remember this now because I'm going to cover this in a second, the opportunity cost of producing one good increases as you produce more of that good. So this is what happened here with burgers. Moving from A to B, it only cost us half a hot dog to increase the quantity of burgers by 1. Moving from B to C, it cost us almost 3 times that amount in terms of hot dogs by increasing the quantity of burgers by 1, moving from B to C, that is. C to D, 6 times the original amount and over twice the second amount, and as we can see from D to E, so all the way along, the amount of hot dogs, which is here, that we had to give up, which was a half, moving from A to B, 1.43 B to C, that's 1.43 hot dogs. C to D, to increase the production of burgers by 1, we had to give up 3 hot dogs. And then D to E, to increase the quantity of burgers produced by 1, we had to give up almost 7 hot dogs. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. So there is this idea of increasing opportunity cost. And this is because as society concentrates on producing more and more of a single good, increasing the production of burgers, that society is devoting more and more resources to the production of that good. And that's fine. All we're saying is we're just putting more and more resources to the production of that good. Therefore, society is using more and more resources to produce that good, in this case burgers, which are not suited to its production. They are suited to the production of hot dogs. Now, look, I understand that obviously this is just for illustrative purposes, but I'm sure that they would be reasonably substitutable, the factors of production between producing burgers and hot dogs. But just for the moment, we're just saying that we're claiming that this is the case. Essentially, what I want you to do, it costs society more and more to produce less and less of the extra good. Not less and less, but less and less extra. Okay, now, but I want you to see, and forgive me if this is long, but I hope you can understand this, and I really do wish to be complete in this video and every video so that you can come back to it as a reference. But I want you to understand that we can go the other way. And this is why I'm saying, make sure you write what you gain first equals what you've lost, right? Always write that in terms of opportunity cost. So what we're saying here is that if we move from E to D, D to C, C to B, and B to A, it's going to be a different story, because what we're gaining is different to what we're losing. Okay, so don't forget, opportunity cost is what you didn't choose. It's the next best alternative forgone when an economic decision is made. Right, well, we know what we're talking about here, right? So opportunity cost, the formula for is what you gain equals what you've lost. There are, as I've said in the previous video, there are loads and loads of ways to calculate it. I just think this is the easiest. That's just me, whatever. So we are moving from E to D. Now, my question is, what did we gain? Right, well, we've gone from 0 hot dogs to 20 hot dogs. So we've gained 20 hot dogs, right? Now, I know I'm skipping a step. And what did we lose? Well, we went from 25 burgers to 22, so we've lost 3 burgers. So 20 hot dogs equals 3 burgers. So again, what is the per unit opportunity cost of the, how much did it cost society per hot dog in terms of hamburgers? All right, for the increased production. Well, we've got to divide both sides by 20, and we get 1 hot dog equals 0.15 of a burger. Really, really low. So again, I'm going to say, okay, so the opportunity cost from D to C. Now, what did we gain? Well, we gained hot dogs, and I don't know how much, so therefore I'm going to use this table. So as far as I can see, it looks like we went up in terms of hot dogs from D to C, which was 15, if that's correct. Yes, it is. And then what did we lose? Well, we lost 5 hamburgers. So therefore, it's 15 hot dogs equals 5 hamburgers. And again, I keep on saying, write it down in terms of what you gain equals what you lost, because then you'll know what to divide by. We want to get the left equal to 1. So what we're saying here now is that from D to C, in order to increase the production of hot dogs by 1, on average, it costs us 0.33 of a burger. We had to give up 1/3 of a burger. And I think you'll agree the 0.33 is higher than 0.15. Okay, now from C to B, so again, I'm going to need to check this because it's not that easy to read from a graph. So we went from 17, that's what we lost, but this is what we gained. So we gained 10 hot dogs, but we lost 7 hamburgers. So as you can see again, like I hope you're clear on this, that if you set it up this way, you just need to divide by the number before the commodity or the good on the left. So now what we're getting is 1 hot dog costs us 0.7 of a burger. Well, the previous one was 0.33 and the previous one was 0.15. So I hope you're seeing that there is an increasing opportunity cost as we devote more and more factors of production to the production of one good. And the reason, and I might as well say it now again, is because these factors of production are less and less suited. As we move from E to D, the ones that are best suited to producing hot dogs and worst suited to producing burgers are the ones that would move, and again and again and again. But as we get from B to A, what we're seeing is that those guys that are really, really good at producing burgers and really, really bad at producing hot dogs, again for illustrative purposes, I know they'd probably be great at doing both, now they're forced away from what they're good at and forced towards something that they're not as good at. So, what did we gain? Well, we went from 45 to 50, so that hot dogs. So that means that we gained 5 hot dogs. But what did we lose? We lost 10 burgers. And again, just moving across, dividing both sides by 5, and I think you can see that the opportunity cost of now 1 hot dog, the increase in production to society of 1 hot dog, is on average costing 2 burgers from B to A. So again, if we kind of do this thing, okay, so what did we notice? The opportunity cost of producing one good increases as you produce more of that good. This is it. Now, I've put the E to D, D to C, so on. So, we'll go through it anyway. 0.15 to 0.33 to 0.7 to 2. So the opportunity cost of producing hot dogs increases as we concentrate more and more on the production of those hot dogs. Now, the last thing that I'll say on just this slide, and then I'll just have a quick chat about something else. This is evidence of the law of increasing opportunity cost. As you increase the production of one good, the opportunity cost to produce the additional good will increase. Okay, so that's what we're saying. Because why? Because we are using factors of production that are less and less suited to the production of that good. All right, as we produce a higher concentration of that good, right? Now, finally, opportunity cost, again, we know what we're talking about. And I am completely aware that hot dogs and hamburgers are probably very substitutable. And I was only doing that for illustrative purposes. But if we come to something like milk and cheese, I think that we will see that they are massively substitutable, okay? Because one is an input to the other. And as such, it would be easy for a milk farmer to learn to produce cheese, and there would be very little difficulty for them in doing that. So this is why, because these goods are so closely related, because they're close substitutes, I suppose, really, if the goods the society were producing were similar, the PPC would be flatter. Because it's like, okay, we've got loads of milk, and then, okay, now we've produced loads of milk, what do we do with it? We make cheese. The idea is that these two goods, it's so easy for the factors of production to move from making milk to making cheese, that because they're so related, that they would be suited to producing both goods, and as such there wouldn't be the bowed out shape. Guys, thank you so much for watching. That is the last video in the introduction playlist. I really do appreciate it. I do hope it helps, and I hope to see you in the next video.